What's going on, Kings? It's Keefe. Understand this. They don't want you to do NoFap. Now, who is they and why don't they want you to do it? Well, we're about to get into all that in great detail. Before that, though, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss new videos, and let's get into it. So who is they? Well, they is the powers that be. They is the women who have OnlyFans accounts who want you to be a simp for them. They is Instagram that gets all your attention for more and more sexualized content. And really the biggest one is they is guys who have bought into the system. They're okay with how things are, and they don't want you challenging their worldview and making them look bad. They is really just about everybody. Understand that. Now, the bigger question is why they don't want you to do NoFap. And the biggest reason is that NoFap is about rejecting a really major vice in our society, and that vice is a means of control over you. Understand, guys, that people benefit from controlling you and predicting you. We like to expect people to act in a certain way, and the powers that be, whether it be businesses like an Instagram or really just any business, because it's not even just completely related to NoFap, which we're going to dive into here in just a second, they all stand to gain by controlling you. They need to know that you're going to buy their products and you're going to act in a certain way and you're going to follow their orders and do these things, and they can predict your behavior so they can make money off you, they can control your time, and they can do all these different things. And when you go on NoFap, you're breaking one of these really big means of control over you. Guys, there's a really big idea in Christianity, and that idea is that you're a slave to things. You're born a slave to your emotions, your impulses, your vices, your desires, all these different things, and that what it means to actually get free from these slaveries is you have to learn to be master of yourself. And this is such an important thing to understand because people actually really benefit from you being enslaved to something. Understand that this is so important, okay? Because who actually benefits from you being a free man, being your own man, who's not controlled and predicted, who's actually clearly looking at situations, who's not being driven by his impulses and desires and all these things. Like, for the most part, people don't really benefit from that other than you. We're going to take this beyond NoFap, and then we're going to come full circle back around to why people don't want you to do NoFap. But understand this, guys. There are people out there, they want your money, they want your time, and most importantly, they want control of this thing between your ears. They want control of your mind. A lot of the popular ways to learn to control and take your money, your time, and your mind are things like fear, using vices, getting you addicted to things, and using manipulation. A lot of times the powers that be, they get us convinced that we need to hate each other while they divide and conquer. This is what politics is all about. Guys, a free and autonomous individual is the biggest threat to a corrupt system. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who wrote the Gulag Archipelago, he was in a Soviet labor camp during communist Russia. Okay, he got thrown in there during the Stalin times. He wrote in this book, the Gulag Archipelago, he wrote that the reason that Soviet Union became communist and became so corrupt and evil was because of every individual's willingness to lie. Basically, he's talking about there, they bought into corruption, they bought into the lies, they were not free, they were completely bought into this system, and they rejected their truth, they rejected their own freedom and their own autonomy as individuals. And this is why they don't want you to do NoFap. I don't want to make NoFap into this like godly, oh my God, like this is the most important thing ever, but I do really want to make this point because here's the thing. You know, quitting smoking cigarettes or something like that, or exercising, those are changes for the better that are a lot easier and more socially acceptable than NoFap. And the reason for that is, you know, there's a stigma around smoking cigarettes. Like, there's a sense of obligation already that you should be exercising. But when you get on NoFap, you're doing something that the majority of men don't do, right? Most guys are addicted to porn. Like, I think I saw a stat, 80% of evangelical married men watch porn on the regular, right? Like, this is like a massive epidemic going on. And so basically you're going completely against the grain. So you're not only making a change for the better to free yourself from something that enslaves you, but you're doing it against the grain. It's not even that society promotes this. Society pretty much promotes you being compulsively addicted to pornography. When you look around you, look at Instagram, look at OnlyFans, look at like just every part of the culture promotes just sex, and it amplifies it, and it likes this system. It benefits from you being a part of this system. And because the majority of men are fapping off, if you don't do that, you are going against conformity, and conformity is one of the best ways to control you. So once you do something against the grain, you can start looking at other things that you're doing and questioning them from a clear-minded perspective. You stop with the herd mentality, just being a sheep, and you start looking at other parts of your life and wondering, like, gee, why am I doing this? Like, why am I going into debt for a degree that I don't understand why I'm getting it? Or, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, why am I doing these different things? You start asking these questions because you start learning that it's okay to go against the grain, that most people actually don't have shit figured out. Essentially, it requires you to be an individual on your own. You can't just be a part of the herd once you start on NoFap, or you do anything really that goes completely against the grain. And as I mentioned, a free autonomous individual is the biggest threat to a corrupt system. The other part of this is that mastering your sex drive requires an awful lot of commitment and discipline. And once you can master that part of yourself, you can really start to look at other parts of your life and start to gain mastery over yourself. So when you do that, when you take responsibility for your sex drive and stop justifying your impulses as if they're something you can't control and can't learn to channel for better uses, you start to look at other parts of your life and start taking responsibility for them. You take responsibility for your body, your finances, other vices you might have, things that are wasting your time. You stop letting people waste your time. You start being responsible for all these areas of your life, and radically you start to improve yourself, and you start to get goals. You take responsibility for the future that you're headed to. And again, when this happens, you become unpredictable. And when you become unpredictable, people don't like that. People want you to conform so they can predict you. In fact, I spent a lot of time learning about internet marketing and stuff like that when I was learning how to build online businesses and things like that. And it's so funny how, like, online marketers have turned the human being into this tabulated algorithm, basically. It's like, okay, you put $1 into the ad, you'll get $3 out, and the algorithm's going to run it, and you run these certain copywriting words, and you're going to convince people to do a certain action, basically. And it's all, like, psychological, and they're basically just trying to control you. And you can see even in that, just the idea that a lot of people have of human beings is that they're just, they're like a part of an equation, rather than a free autonomous person. So essentially, guys, NoFap isn't even really that important on its own. Really what it is, it's the first domino to fall. Okay, because you're taking that responsibility. And when that first one goes, basically, if you go on NoFap, you're saying, I want something better for my life. This is something that's held me back. I really believe this has been a problem. Maybe it's caused physical issues, or I just know, like, this is not the man I want to be, whatever it is. It's that first domino to fall. You taking responsibility for every aspect of your life and the direction you're going to head. And from there, you start to free yourself from that slavery I mentioned to your emotions, your impulses, your vices, and your desires. And in doing that, a lot of people stand to lose from you doing that. Now, if you got something out of this video, you'll want to check this one out right here next. And also go ahead and give me a like and hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.